If you have just finished Orb on the Movements of Earth and have questions like how Rafal came back despite dying so early, who sent the letter in the end, then don't worry. In today's video, we are going to explore the fascinating ending of Orb into the Movements of Earth in detail. Now, this isn't just a regular ending, it's packed with layers of meaning, hidden references to history, and philosophical questions that make you think long after the video ends. We'll break down everything you need to know. So, if you have been wondering what the ending truly meant, you are in the right place. So, let's begin. In the last episode, we see Albert going to church to deliver the bread, but upon arriving, he finds nobody there. As he looks around, he stumbles upon a small box like room called a confessional. Inside, Albert finds a priest who is interested in hearing his confessions, if he has any. Initially, Albert refuses, but the priest insists, saying he would also reveal something about his own past. Eventually, they both sit inside, and Albert begins addressing his problems. He explains that he lacks the confidence to look at the sky or study anymore because of something that happened during his childhood. Albert recounts that his mother died when he was a baby, and since then, he was raised by his father alone. He had a great enthusiasm for studying, and his father encouraged him, often telling him to doubt everything he saw. Later, his father even got him a tutor, our favorite, Rafal. Now, I know many of you have the question, if Rafal died so early in the show at the age of 12, then how is he here again years later, also grown up? I'll get to that later. Rafal began teaching Albert and often discussed constellations. Constellations are easily recognizable groups of stars that appear to be located close together in the sky and form a picture when imaginary lines connect them. They are usually named after an animal, a character from mythology, or a common object. Rafal taught Albert about these, and Albert, with his great enthusiasm for learning, quickly became good in the subject. One day, Rafal took Albert to a seminar where thinkers and philosophers from around the world had gathered. Albert had a great experience there, but in the middle of the event, he remembered that he had forgotten to note the position of the stars that day. He quickly ran home to do so, but as soon as he opened the door, he saw his father killed by Rafal. Rafal justifies his actions by saying that Albert's father had been hiding some of his research. Rafal wanted to study it with him, but Albert's father refused because the research could contradict the church's teachings and he didn't want to put his son in danger. Since he refused to share the research, Rafal, believing that not sharing knowledge was a severe sin, killed him. Afterward, he was caught by the townspeople. This raises a very obvious question, who exactly was this Rafal? Because the Rafal we know died at the age of 12, long before these events. So, who is this? The answer is simple. This Rafal belongs to a different reality. Yes, you heard that right. Let me explain properly. The story up until Raka's death took place in a fictional world where the kingdom was named P. However, the events afterward took place in our real world, primarily in Poland. The Rafal who killed Albert's father was from this reality. But why are there two Rafals? What does it signify? Well, it's not explicitly explained. I believe it symbolizes two sides of the same coin. The Rafal from the fictional world was ready to die for the truth, while the Rafal from the real world was ready to kill for it. Since that day, Albert's enthusiasm for studying diminished, as it constantly reminded him of his father. After addressing all of this, the priest, as he had promised, shares his own past. He confesses that he once left one of his friends to be killed by the church for a severe crime. This priest is likely one of Novak's apprentices, one who helped Yolanda escape and was burned for it, and the other who remained. The priest here is likely that second apprentice. The priest admits that this is the first time he has put his past into words, and he will probably suffer even more because of it. He says he still ponders whether he made the right choice that day and believes he will never find an answer. However, today marks the first step in moving forward. The same goes for Albert, who has also confronted his traumatic past. Both should move forward, and God will accept them. However, they also question whether they are truly worthy of God's acceptance. To this, Albert responds that no matter how much they ponder that question, God will remain silent. The priest agrees, saying that this is why they must continue thinking until the very end. This reminds Albert of his father's advice to doubt everything, and at that moment, his curiosity and enthusiasm for studying return. Finally, the priest asks a question that was posed in the first episode as well. To obtain bread, one offers coin. To obtain rights, one offers taxes. To obtain wages, one offers labor. So then, what must one offer to obtain the truth of the world? This is a profound question asked twice in the show. So, what is the exact answer? I believe it is tied to Albert's father's advice to doubt. One must doubt everything in front of them to fully understand the truth of their surroundings. As Albert later phrases it, I'll doubt as I move forward and believe when I look back. This quote sums up the entire answer. As Albert heads back, he once again tries to look at the sky and observe the constellations. He hesitates as it reminds him of his father, but he overcomes that trauma and moves forward. He realizes that eliminating others like his teacher did and hiding knowledge like his father did are not the correct ways to pursue the beauty of the world. Instead, progress comes from people working together and moving forward. The world is vast, and understanding it will take time, possibly generations. Even the idea of heliocentrism was achieved through the cumulative effort of people across generations. It is through collaboration that humanity can fully understand the truth of the world. It will take time, but in the end, it will be worth it. Albert then returns to his master and expresses his desire to attend university. He quickly gains admission. Upon leaving the university, he looks up at the sky and we see a subtle montage of Rafal, Ogji, and Draka in their final moments gazing at the sky. This represents the cumulative effort taken by them to share the idea of heliocentrism across generations. They sacrificed their lives for the sake of truth, and in their final moments, they all looked at the sky. To them, the sky represents a phenomenon full of mysteries and knowledge, and their enthusiasm for heliocentrism symbolizes humanity's step forward in understanding the mysteries of sky or the universe. As Albert returns after his admission, we see his master receiving a letter originally intended for Potoczki, the previous resident at that address. The letter states that he will receive 10% of the profits made from the book on the movements of Earth. This raises an obvious question: who sent that letter? Since this is a different world and Rafal is not the one who started it, so it must have been someone else. Just as Rafal found the stone crest in the alternate reality, in this world, someone else must have discovered it, leading to the publication of heliocentrism here as well. In this world, it was not started by Rafal, though the rest of the characters remain the same. In the end, as we saw Draka in her final moments sending a letter through a pigeon, this was the very letter meant for Potoczki or for Potoczki's address. Albert hears the title of the book and initially thinks he misheard, as he has always believed that the heavens move. However, he begins to doubt whether this is actually true. The narrator then tells us that in 1468, Albert enrolled in university where he would eventually work as a teacher for 20 years. His studies primarily focused on mathematics and natural philosophy. At one point, he showed skepticism toward the geocentric model but refrained from drawing conclusions. In 1482, he wrote a commentary introducing a new theory of planetary movement. In 1491, a young student learned astronomy through his commentary, Nicholas Copernicus. Copernicus was a real historical figure, a Polish mathematician and astronomer who proposed the heliocentric model of the universe, stating that the Earth and the other planets revolve around the Sun. This was a groundbreaking idea at the time. This also ties into one of the show's important themes, the power of reading and writing. As Yolanta explained to Oggi, writing allows people to live on even centuries later. Copernicus died in 1543, yet we are still talking about him today. And in the show, the idea of heliocentrism was also preserved and passed through writings, with characters struggling and sacrificing their lives across generations to share this written knowledge. And with that, the show ends. So, in the end, what does this story really tells us? It's not just about astronomy or parallel realities, it's about the pursuit of knowledge, the burden of truth, and the sacrifices made across generations to uncover it. Albert's journey teaches us that questioning everything is the first step to understanding the world, whether it's science, philosophy, or even our own beliefs. Doubt is not our enemy, it is the key to progress. And as we see, the ideas passed down through history continue to shape the future, long after the people who first spoke them are gone. Now, if this story made you curious about the future of anime and what's coming next, then you will definitely want to check out my video, 40 most anticipated anime releases of 2025. From long-awaited sequels to brand new series, there's a lot to be excited about. Click here to watch. Thanks for watching.